Okay, with me today is Rhonda Phillips, a preeminent well-being researcher. Rhonda, I wonder if you could tell us your current title and institution.
Sure. I'm Dean of the Honors College at Purdue University and a professor in the Agricultural Economics School.
Thank you. What do you see as your main contributions to the field of well-being?
Well, I really come at it from a community development perspective. So my background is community economic development and urban regional planning. So I see it as what can we do as collectives, as groups of people in whatever geographic region we may be, to really push forward on progress.
Can you tell me about some contributions you've made to this field of study that you're proud of in particular?
Well, sure. One of the areas that I work in for a while now is something called community indicators. And I like to look at it as a systems approach. In other words, looking at a group of our set of data that can convey what is happening in a local economy, in a regional system, in communities in terms of social, ecological, and environmental well-being. And so I've done quite a bit of work, again, at the community level for indicator systems. And that's been very rewarding and a lot of fun, too, because often what happens is that when you work with people to really examine what their situation is, both past, present, and what they'd like to be, then good outcomes start to happen from that process itself.
Are there particular communities that you've studied in detail you could tell us about?
Yes, I tend to work with smaller communities. I grew up in a rural area, and so I have an affinity for the rural issues that people face. And so I've worked with several small communities to look at what they can do to really try to get a better footing in terms of both on economic development terms, but also social development terms. And that's been a lot of fun. I've done work with some of the Native American communities, and that was very rewarding as well as distressed communities that are facing some sort of large closing of a major employer, or perhaps they've had some long-term systemic problems in the economy, and they're trying to recover. And that's quite rewarding to be able to work with people to help them envision their future and not just be at the mercy of whatever can happen to them, but rather take charge of that future and push forward.
So a very proactive kind of approach.
Yes, absolutely, and that's where the planning comes in. I really like looking forward and thinking through what could we be, and it's a very normative approach. It's not just accepting what is, but rather what could be or what should be even, and that to me is very exciting work.
It sounds wonderful. Can you give us some examples of social or economic flourishing type interventions that you've been a part of?
Well, one of the things that I look at the role of people like myself who are community developers or economic developers or planners for that matter. We're really catalysts, or we're the I guess matchmakers in community, if you will, because I really believe that people have the answers to know what to do and how to move forward with their lives, and we just help with that. We help the conversation, and to me that's an important role to play, and I really relish that. But again, people have the answers. They know what they want, and once you can help form that dialogue and start those discussions, people tend to take off and run with that. One of the projects that I really have enjoyed working with, this was several years ago, was the idea of arts-based community development, looking at things that people might not think about when they think about what can we do to encourage the economy of our local region. And what was inherent in several of the regions I've worked with is artisan and craftsman skills, and a desire to capture or reflect their own story and what they're doing. And sometimes it's things like that we don't always think of as resources or assets that we can use to build on. And having an approach to look at what's the indicator set for this community, what are some planning approaches we can take to push forward, that to me is very rewarding. And hopefully it's been rewarding to those communities as well.
So you're really a facilitator and not a dictator.
Yes.
I'm aware of one locale, San Rafael, California, near San Francisco, where they tried to foster more of an arts community, make space available to artists as a way to economically rejuvenate the area. Would that be an example?
Absolutely, that's a great example. And there's a wide range of examples. I've had the pleasure of living in Burlington, Vermont several years ago, and they've done a remarkable job of taking an old industrial district and combining that with art-based community and economic development. And it's one of the few places I know that truly is an industrial/artist district, and they've done remarkable things with that. And again, that's an outgrowth of what people want when they sit down and think about what could this be, instead of just accepting what is, which was at the time they started a pretty dilapidated old warehouse district, and now it's a vibrant cultural arts center that has some very thriving business and industry as part of that district.
That's wonderful. So is there a particular approaches you like to use to try